Hello, testing OBS. See if it crashes in the next 5 seconds. Oh, it's crashing. But is it still recording when it's crashing? Maybe the game's too HD for it. Good enough for me. This is my house. This is where I build everything. I built it like in the very last week of everything, so no one got to see it. Because I figured my house is the whole town. Everything that's built, I figured, is the place I'll stay in, because there's a little bit of everything everywhere. I've never really done that for Minecraft build, um, where like I just live everywhere rather than one building, and I kind of like it, something different. But I still needed somewhere to put all my crap, so I just quickly whipped this together in a couple hours. There's all that stuff and all that stuff. Oh, and they're like double layered too. I was halfway through building this, and I kind of realized it looked like a really clean and well-decorated morgue. So I kind of thought these chests would look good in a little bit of a crypt-style area. I'll probably expand it at some point if the Realms ever gets rebooted up. Or I just copy-paste the village up there onto my Realms. Which sounds like something I'd do. Here's all the building materials I used. And Dylan had these things dotted around town to help connect all of Sarah's rat tunnels. I put a little safety door, because I don't think mobs can break through copper doors. But, they might. Down there. Oh. Imagine if I died. Here's the beacon I made. With taxed from the village. It's our beacon. Imagine if I died. And up there is the upstairs. Right here is a little bit of an elevator. There's some connecting spots. So much in that spire. So much. Big build. Big build. And then, here's the, to-do board. And here's the to-do drama book. Anyway, let's start at one of the original houses, which is this one. A lot of the build... Oh, it's Greg, okay. A lot of the buildings here were made by the players. Everybody. Everyone contributed, varying amounts. And then this is where I slept. A little cozy, a little bit A, a little bit of B, and then everything I need gets what's done. And here's this bridge. Ooh, so pretty. And these are the chicken killing foxes. And then this is where Dylan stayed for most of the time. Very poor. And then, I was thinking about showing you the rat tunnels, but just imagine, there's a labyrinth underneath this whole town, and it's everywhere. Sarah was a mole and dug through everything, trying to find all the villagers. Because when we first came in, there was only a small handful of villagers, and Sarah killed them all. So there's one villager over here, and that Sarah found, and there was another villager somewhere that no one found but me. So I took both of them and I hid them away, and I spent days breeding them. Days. And I was going to release them all when I had some houses built and some structures built. I was going to release them all when I had the time. And I said, give me a day or two to release all the villagers. And then someone cheated them in, cheated all the villagers in. Well, why play the game when you just cheat? I said all I need is a day to keep breeding them. We wouldn't be in a situation if all the villagers weren't murdered in the first place. But it is what it is. And history is only listened to by the victors and all that. And these villagers eventually they did get bred and released out in the wilds, I think. I know. All right, we will go into the rat tunnels. Show some villager history of where they were hidden. Where am I? Yeah, this is a spot where they were, because they were initially underneath the place I slept in a BDSM dungeon, but someone used spectator mode and found them. Oh, big shocker! So I moved them down here. I kept moving them in this underground railway up until they were miraculously found again. Maybe it was all their hers, but I'm doubtful. And that leads to the village. Anywho, once they were found here, I did give a fair warning. If the villagers were found, I'd burn this place to the ground. And that's exactly what happened. Ooh. This is another portal. We showed it later. And this ladder here leads to the area I slept in. But it's all blocked off. I even made a sheep pen down here to hide the noise of the villagers that were underneath, but apparently it wasn't enough. But the villagers were eventually let out, and they actually let's do a little bit in chronological order. A lot of them were shifted into the first TikTok build, this TikTok beach house. Kind of roughly mirrored what you'd find on TikTok. You got a full fridge. Stop. Never mind. I guess all that fridge food is rotten. Don't want any of that. Look at all this stuff. And then is the beds. There was another one over here, but clearly, I could tell I wasn't wanted. Just like you weren't wanted, little guy. They abandoned you. This is the first abandoned house, first abandoned TikTok house. And there's a village over here. I did spend a fair bit of time rebreeding all the villagers, because there was a couple of massacres here and there. We'll get to it later. And then there's a little lightning rod on here. But I don't think this lightning rod protected the whole place. I remember half of it got burnt down because of another lightning strike. Oh, well, what can you do? And then I remember boating back, and I captured this guy. So he's been a staple in the village for a long, long time. I'll cut out all these empty air time in post. Don't worry about it. And then there was a water fountain here, but Sarah said, I don't want to drown in that fountain anymore. So, like any natural person, I would I replaced it all with lava. So she wouldn't drown. And there's some signs here, but people broke the signs. rather than creating in this village, there was an equal amount of destruction. For every tower built, there an equal amount of blocks randomly dug out everywhere. I made this little town meeting area. I thought it was very cute. I mean, we made it. It's a village. We work together. Same with all this. This is it's a nice little area. Cow pen. Very useful for getting all these steaks I've been primarily eating. And then chicken and sheep pen. And this was full of 1,000 chickens, but these foxes, one fox could clear out 1,000 chickens. They don't really get full. But you know, semen storage. They freeze the eggs and they freeze the eggs. But someone thought it was funny to breed 2,000 chickens, and turns out when chickens are at capacity, they go right through the fences, and they continually went through the fences for several days, and I spent a long time every day, a couple hours, trying to clean up those chickens. I'd go in the back, kill about 100 chickens, put a seed in the offhand, sweeping sword in the main, and I'd go to town. But at some point, I just stopped. I stopped, and then one day I got mad, and I bred all the chickens out here. I said, you know what? If someone's going to keep perma-breeding the chickens, despite, you know, a formal complaint being sent into the town government, someone's going to keep breeding chickens, I'm going to join in the boat too. So why would it matter if they're bred over here or bred over here if they're all just going to escape and have this entire area littered with chickens? But I only did that like one time. Sometimes I would breed the chickens in the pen, but after the chicken debacle, I stopped and just started using Jordan's chickens instead. And here, just imagine this whole area, rather than grass, it's just chickens. And at some point, like a week or two after all that, with all those chickens, I just chucked them in this hole. And I think that's where this fox, yeah, I think this one fox cleared out all 2 million chickens back here. Good for the fox. Anywho, the only reason why, if you're ever wondering about this fence, this whole fenced area is just for chicken prevention. If chickens got over here, foxes insta-kill them. If chickens go into this area, they get locked in. For some reason, those villagers like to get locked in as well. If chickens come over here, they can't jump because it's a honey block. And even if they do manage, the foxes will get them. Because you just gotta imagine, like, all chickens can do is just jump one block. So they'd be locked into all this. As the villager fell down, they could use that door, and it's a trap, or if it's like a pressure plate, it'll hit it. Leads to more of Sarah's rat tunnels. Promptly blocked off. There's more fences. Fences everywhere. Oh, I guess chickens can't climb up here. How a chicken got down here? They sneak in somehow. I don't think they sneak in. I think people just keep throwing eggs, and then you throw eggs like they do this, and then they just kind of land places. And then I gotta play cleanup. I gotta play janitor. That's okay. I don't mind cleaning up every now and then, but you know, I don't want to be a janitor, you know, full time. But after all that, there's some houses built, such as this one, and the flying house, and then a lot of other of these smaller houses were built just to give the villagers some jobs, rather than just being hyper efficient, stuffed in one area. I like the idea of it kind of being less efficient. And this is one of the original buildings too, blacksmithery. And then a little seaside town, a little bit of a rustic look. Oh, got a rare villager. I'm not pronouncing that. It's beneath me. And then this little pumpkin farm's been there from day one. And then this big carrot farm was a big start to the emerald production. Big production. So we got a lot of XP and a lot of emeralds. It used to, but because there's so many farmer villagers at the time, fresh off the boat, they needed the work and all that. Another subdivision was built. A little bit of a happier district here. And a lot of fucking these radishes and other bullshit was being planted. It really fucked over the carrot farm. Then with all the import workers, we need some low-income housing, so we hired some sketchy contractors, and this neighborhood's a little rough. There's grunge on the wall. I don't even know what that is. Who put that there? There's alley cats everywhere. Yeah. The pawn shop, an iron bar is just locked up tight. Dusty cobwebs everywhere. Oh, there wasn't any beds in here? What the heck? That's some plumbing. Ah, shit, someone's getting jumped over there. Was that a gang S sign? Fires in this back alley. And then these are the low-income housing apartments. I'd show you all the rooms, but they're exactly the same. Oh, we got another rare one. I don't know, it smells like piss in here. We got iron bars instead of windows because people love breaking in. Now we're back over here. There was a nice lava fountain over here, but someone in Obsidian did it all. Looks good. It had a nice little cove area now. And then that's generally where that half of the timeline ended. And then someone got mad. Some people started making up theories in their head of griefing in this town. Griefing. Now at the time, I only could play like 2 to 3 hours every day. But someone schizoed out and decided, I'm done with upstairs. I'm going to go downstairs. And thus, downstairs was born. So here's the TikTok basement. Come in here, a variety of plants. Great, lush aesthetic. A little bell, a lot of variety. Nothing in there. We can close that. And then, maximum cruelty is the motto. So, these were all full of beds, just for maximum villagers. under construction. And this is a little release valve that was always closed that let some villagers go upstairs. Because when you had like 100 beds down here, there needed to be some repopulation. Because upstairs, a lot of the villagers were dying off. And rather than taking responsibility, adding more walls, adding lighting, the villagers were dying. So rather than, you know, deal with the problem upstairs, they decided, fuck them. I'm gonna move downstairs. So all the villagers up there kind of died off, because no one was breeding them. I can only play an hour or two a week. You know, I couldn't really play the game and breed the villagers because it's such a hassle to get carrots and fucking throw them at these guys. Oh my god. Even though not everything is built at once, I'll just show it all off. It's the trading hall. All these guys are maxed out. I don't think any of them are special things. And there's the Liberty. I always wanted villagers like step on this and auto breed themselves, but I never really got the chance to. Nothing was really done with this either. Bit of a right shame. Good idea. Oh, that was all full of carrots too. Rip. And then gotta find some of the griefing holes. You know what? I'll admit, I put 3 holes on top of these mushrooms, like somewhere like right here, somewhere like right there. Maybe one right here? Something like right here. I thought it'd be funny if I could drip feed zombies into this place, because at the time it's full of iron golems. I just wanted to scare Sarah. But it didn't work because the place is too lit up. There's too many fucking lanterns. So like, I did. Oh yeah, exactly like this. So I did something like this, but then there's too much light coming in, so no zombies actually spawn. Anywho, even if like a creeper did spawn and blow up a hole, it would only be 1 hole. It's caused by me compared to the 50 fucking holes that were caused by Sarah and Tyke upstairs. Never filled in, by the way. Someone said I caused a creeper hole down here. Oh, if I would be there in a second to fix it. Get my joke off and move on. But there are 3 holes on the floor. And this is one of them. Can't see shit. Just had some fire. What the heck is this? Oh, okay, down here it had a lot of souls. So this is where I introduced the idea of the withered Sarah. But I'm assuming Tyke Schizo dug out all of the soul sand I put in favor of this tunnel. Yeah, there's the soul sand. So I built something that looked really nice down here. It had a lot of blue fire going on, but I guess whoever wanted this tunnel wanted it more than my build. That's a shame. It looked really nice down here. It's very atmospheric. The motto is destroy and take away in this village. And then that's where I just came from. I don't know where Dylan's red hole is. Dylan had something similar. I made a blue hole, Dylan had a red hole. And Sarah has a pink hole somewhere. I don't know where the fuck they are. If I had spectator mode, I might be able to find it. Actually, I think I know where Sarah's tunnel is. Well, this is my showcase. Anywho, that was the basement. Oh, there was a nice if you went through this nether portal, um there's a nice nether house on the other end, but uh the server got transferred and that house got wiped. Bit of a right shame, isn't it? Oh yeah, and also all of these villagers down here. One day, someone left this gate open and this portal open, despite it being able to be closed, and like 90% of them got out. 90% of the villagers got out here. As you can clearly see, all these villagers just walking out this portal because, as you saw when I entered this place, the portal was on, so villagers could just easily walk through. But you know, rather than using logic and thinking through an issue, I got blamed for somehow killing every villager, and they abandoned that underground place too. So first the town abandoned, then the beach town abandoned, and now it's the underground place that was abandoned. But Jordan never left this area. He made all this. A nice little aesthetic. Jordan really likes using the crystals. I like that he has a nice little aesthetic and theme. But Jordan, you know, we all know how he's like against liberal people. So in theme of Pride Month, we freshened up the town just for him. We added a billboard and some fancy flags. A lot of pink in this area. And this guy. This is a nice bridge he built. Very nice. And then at some point way later, Jordan did build these fences. I think Dylan and I brought over the villagers, and we all shared in the experience. Sarah dug out a massive majority of this farm. Jordan planted a lot of carrots. There's a tax box over here, but the government got rid of the tax box because apparently they don't believe in taxes and all that. And this is our sugarcane auto farm. You know, not too shabby for a 3 days worth of work. And then at some point, the chickens cause a lot of lag, so there's a bit of an animal massacre upstairs. So then they were moved down here where they could live freely. Oh, I also made like a redstone noise machine right over here with these things. I thought it was a funny bit. So that was the main part of the town, into this sea town, into the basement, into low income housing, the Jordan's house. And at that point, half of the village got splintered. Big drama. Someone was schizoing out about a lot of things that weren't really happening, and every time proof was provided, it was promptly ignored. And then, let's see. This book was published by the town's local newspaper. Let's see. And then I was blamed for killing all the villagers, even though that was not true. When this is brought up, ignored. Let's see. Grieve the village. Again, brought up, ignored. Aspire. Wish I worked on this more. Let's see. Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about. I think I did for a bit, but the amount of times that there are just holes everywhere. It's crazy. A lot of potholes formed in this town. We didn't really hire proper construction workers. No real maintenance. So yeah, a lot of potholes were forming. Land was sinking into the rat tunnels. We should have hired some more hardworking villagers, and not these fresh off the boat villagers. Not the tundra ones. We wanted the jungle villagers. They're nice and they work nice and hard. And then this whole book is just listing grievances. You know, is what it is. It's all in the past. As long as history is here to report the truth, that's what matters. And unlike certain other villages, this town always tells the truth. And then after that, half the village did splinter off. Don't really know where they went. Kind of just disappeared. They come back every now and then, but they probably went to another town to just abandon it. But while they were away, this town hall was built. There's a little place down there. There's a little map of some random village, I think. Again, it's not really completed or anything, just half-baked, per usual. Let's see. Gotta solve a bit of a puzzle here. Okay, yeah, and then this is the village. I wonder if it updates when new things are built. There we go. I want to say... Whoops. Yeah, sure, why not? And that's what the village looks like. This is our little meeting room, little war room. These things are legal in the town, not drugs. Oh yeah, a while ago, I bred a lot of these villagers. This is where I was breeding the villagers to repopulate the town. And I had them locked in for the longest time. But then someone got rid of the lock and it fucked over the progress. And then, since half the villagers, or half the townspeople left, there's been a lot of groundskeeping that just went, unchecked. So much grass, there's vines in the walls, there's like moss growing through the cobblestone. It's been very unruly. Since we lost half the townspeople, we didn't have the fundings for a groundskeeper. And then, shit just kept getting overgrown and overgrown. But, we found room in the budget to build this greenhouse. Little snapshot of a lot of plants. Into, this is like another, is that the easel? No, not easel. What's that thing painters use to hold all their paints? This little display of all the blocks the Nether could provide, because Sarah didn't go to the Nether for the first like 2 weeks, and I wanted to show her what's up. There's a lot of beautiful blocks that could be provided. A lot of overgrown thorns over here. I wonder who built this. Good on that guy. Clearly there was money in the budget for the shrine. That's where the groundskeeper budget went. And this is a church. Very nice. And you just got a quick little sit and pray. There was only one guy in here at some point. I don't know where those other guys came from. Anywho, let's let them do their thing. And then Andrew did join at some point. And remember all those villagers that were in the Nether. a good bunch of them did get released back, because at the time, before the server got reset, or the server reset and the nether reset, the villagers were still in the nether, and they had a way to be pushed back through here. But half of that nether house I mentioned beforehand was destroyed in the process to try to push them through this portal. And someone thought that the nether stayed perma-loaded when no one was in there, even though that's not how chunk loading works. But either way, this place did have like 20 to 30 villagers while they were moving them and the nether chunks were loaded. But Andrew killed them all. Shit was a massacre. Kind of funny. But all that work they did was a little bit in vain. But Andrew did build a nice little jungle treehouse spot. At this point, the place has become really overgrown. All these trees, they started sprouting up. Groundskeeper guy was not able to trim a lot of the bushes. Big, massive, I don't know what happened here. Deforestation, I guess, is where they got all the wood. And then at some point, the other half of the townspeople did come back. I'm assuming they abandoned that other village, but is what it is. And then we have the Minecraft plots area, such as this death trap roller coaster into whatever this is. These are the thoughts that go through a certain player's head. There's a player that looks just like this, and I'm assuming this sound goes through their head. With these kind of builds. There's a lighthouse with trees on top. There's the mouse from Flushed Away with a bug net, I'm assuming. Eiffel Tower from Memroy. I think someone tried to build the Eiffel Tower completely and utterly fucking blitzed out of her mind. I can only assume. Because anything less than that is just an insult to like a person's intelligence. Anywho, the dock looked very nice. Little bridge. Oh, Dinnerbone. I was wondering where this guy went. He was in the middle of town a while ago. And then a house on a pool on a house. There's some. These are all just full of dirt. These full of dirt. That bed full of dirt. Little thing with Bob built out of dirt. A little building, a little church. Trash, 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 trash. Ooh. Oh. We built Sarah some armor to look so she could look hip with the rest of us. But it's over here. Not keeping her safe. And then at some point, we got someone wanted to build Bikini Bottom, so the conduit was built. I really like the conduit, it looks nice. I like the multi-structure block. Well, that sucks. And then here's Bikini Bottom, built from Memroy. Or Babini Bottom. This is Patrick's house, I guess. There's a sign for Buford. I'll cut all this out. Oh, it's empty. Fuck me. And this is Squidward's. And this is SpongeBob's. How do I do Bikini Bottom without SpongeBob? Yeah, whoever built this, grow up. Oh, this is Sarah's emergency backpack when we all went to go find elytras. Sarah did learn how to use the elytra. Very nice. I had to pack up a lot of stuff for her. And then another one of Dylan's rat tunnel entrances into overgrown beach area. This is Borsey 2 because the original one died. This is the son of Borsey. I do believe that's most of the town. Oh, hell yeah. You know, a lot of ups and a lot of downs for the town. We had the main village into Sea Village. And then a lot of these houses were erected over time. Andrew helped out. Dylan, you know, every day, I swear he just added another one of these until it reached the top. What's at the top? Nobody knows. No one's been up there. It's a bunch of like trials in there. A lot of fancy footwork. A lot of stuff going on in there. We had a church for tax reasons, naturally. Then low-income housing. And then, ooh. Damn, almost lined up. We got Jordan's farm and the Minecraft plot section. I don't really think there's anything else of relevance to talk about. So, naturally, all things must come to an end. Someone will drink this funny little potion, and hopefully these guys can figure it the fuck out, because I'm going to bed. In the only place I know where. The graveyard. Ooh, how nice. And maybe one day we'll pick it all up again. Come back to the server. But it's a low chance. Until then, I'm going to bed. Good luck, village. See you in the next life.